Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this edition of DMS 3000 News Live. It's episode 38 on this Tuesday, August 8th, 2023, and I am your gracious host and moderator today, Jason DeCanio, once again coming to you live from the WJDC studios for the David 3000 Network. And today, we have another fantastic show for you. If you thought yesterday's show was hilarious and full of bloopers and all that other great stuff, well, if you looked at the final cut of the video, you would have actually saw a fantastic episode with a little bit of in and out, but that's okay. We still got a great interview with Erin Perry, and we're going to bring her back eventually sometime to get a great complete interview with a different format. So that's all said and done. She's doing fantastic, and we thank you again for coming on the program. Now, today, the big promotion for this show is a 2-hour-long show with some special guests. Yes, we're talking about the 200th episode promotion of Rant and Rave. I have special guests with me today, Brandon Martin and Jordy Scow from Rant and Rave. But before we do that, usually we do the headlines and all the other good information. We're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and play a special video that I think is very interesting. A couple days ago, David St. Dennis, our CEO, he did a video with Victor from the Popcorn Panel. So we're going to play that video right now. If they can stream that up, I'll go ahead and put myself in the backstage and enjoy this video for about 18 to 20 minutes. And when we come back at 8:30, we'll bring in our special guests for the next rest of the show. Okay.
Hello, everybody. I'm David here on DMS 3000 News Live, and today we have an interview segment here with Count Victor, everybody.
Yeah, you better fucking behave, Yoshi. I swear to God.
Well, I hope so. So, we have Count Victor here, and the reason why we have him on here today, because coming up tomorrow in about 40...
What? We got to determine the hours? Wait, okay. It depends on when this actually airs. So what?
It's 8 a.m. today on Monday.
8 a.m. versus and then 24 hours is about 36 hours, give or take.
36. Yes, in about 36 hours, the 1-year anniversary of the Popcorn Panel podcast,
which is technically on Wednesday, but still we do our show on Tuesday.
Yes, because we had to make that move. For other reasons, and this is a big week here because not only is the 1-year anniversary of the Popcorn Panel podcast, but also the 200th episode of the Rant and Rave podcast, speaking of which, that airs on Thursday, but tomorrow, Brian Martin and Tornado will be on the DMS 3000 News Live for the major of the show to promote episode 200, so stay tuned for
Not only that, episode 200, I can officially confirm, since Jordy did say this, the entire Popcorn Panel team will be on the show. It's going to be a crossover.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, how about that? I didn't know that.
Yeah. We were in talks to do that 2 weeks ago. When we did the last episode, it was 2 weeks ago, I think, because we took a break, we took a week off. But after that, Jordy brought the idea up to me, and Brandon was thinking about it, and we all agreed to do it.
So that's what he was referring to. So okay, well, that's something very looking forward to everybody here. And I know that for the 100th episode, Rant and Rave, it was a Rant and Rave Bumming Bozos, which is no longer, that was a crossover.
It's excommunicado. Let's put it that way. It's excommunicado.
Yeah, but what made I'll ask Torn this on Tuesday tomorrow if whenever for the interview. But what made Torn decide to do this crossover for episode 200?
I mean, I really don't know. But I think I think it was either him or Brandon. I don't know exactly how it turned out, but maybe it's just kind of one of those things where we could promote our shows at the same time in Atlanta, and the anniversaries ended up being our anniversary, their 200th. It just happened to be on the same week.
Yeah, and that was not my.
And this was not my intention. This was not my. We just happened that way. It just happens that way. We don't make this shit up.
Yeah, because now the reason why I believe I did the first episode of Pop Quick Panel podcast for this week back in 2022, because I was going to Cape Cod, and while I was there, I want that to air for everybody to enjoy. That was the only reason why. But I did not have the time to count how many weeks to episode 200. I didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So tell everybody how you did. Tell everybody how you came up with the Popcorn Panel podcast.
Well, technically, it came from a conversation between myself, Tanner, who's obviously he was in the Bofus chat all the time, and Hunter Hughes, another member of the Bofus chat and the Filmtastic Forum, which I kind of run, and they're also in the network as well. The network community, that is. But we had a talk. We were talking about movies, and then David had an epiphany, as I would put it, about doing a movie show, coming up with a movie, pitching to me, doing a movie show about movies. He pitched this to me. And what happened was that I was like, okay, I'll do it. I've never done anything like this before. I've done videos on my personal YouTube channel, but I never really done a podcast before in my entire life up to that point. This was about...
You mostly do collection videos on
Yes,
YouTube.
Absolutely. I do. Let's take this out, for example.
Oh, no. This again?
Sorry, Tanner. I have to pull out Dogma again. Here's the front. Here's the spine. Here's the other spine. There's the back. And it's even the cover, spine, back.
Where's the paper slip?
There's the paper slip. There's this one. And then if I pull this back here, this too. You put it back.
And the copyright date?
This DVD came out in 2001.
Well, good thing not 2003, otherwise it would have been old. Anyway, continue.
Geez. But yeah, I had done it for a while on my YouTube channel. I still kind of do it, but I feel like I need to catch up on doing that. But yeah, this was my first ever podcast, and it went through several revisions before we actually went on the air. It went in development hell for like 5 months, like 3 to 4 months around there. Tanner and Hunter originally were going to be the hosts of me on the show, but they dropped out. They weren't feeling comfortable doing a podcast at the time, so they dropped out. So I asked David to kind of fill in to fill in as host at that time, and then I contacted Ibarra about it too. Uriel, he agreed immediately, and that's how the first run. I divide them by eras. The first episodes with David on board when he was host. That's the original, the origin era, or whatever you want to call it. Episodes 10. No. The first 9. Let's say the first 9. 10, even though he did. Okay, I'll say 10 because he was still on that show. 11 to 6 to 15 is what I consider the Dark Age. That's the part of the series that we don't talk about anymore. Let's put it that way. Trouble Production, let's put it that way, and a certain somebody being pretty difficult to work with. Let's put it that way. Then what happened was that we fired the guy. We had him, but William came in. This is when William came in as well, and he's been permanent with us
as a replacement.
As a replacement for the first replacement for David here. After we fired the other guy who used to be on the show, we were like, we couldn't take it anymore after an incident that happened. Before episode 16, I was like, who the heck am I going to bring on now? I had less than a week to figure that out. And what happened was that I asked Jared Ross if he were to do it. And I was like, he actually what's funny is that David actually recommended me to try and see if he could do it. I wasn't sure if he was going to do it because he has his own YouTube channel, his own movie reviews and all that. He's probably busy. So I PM'd him one day, and to my surprise, he actually accepted. And with that, I also decided, hey, why not get Jordy on board as well too? And that's what caused that. And since episode 16 with The Last Airbender, which is, by the way, the most popular live stream on David's channel to this very day. It is bigger than the Happy Gilmore debate.
Yep.
But
and what episode number is that, by the way?
That's 16.
16.
With The Last Airbender, which is a terrible movie. Don't watch it. But with that was when it all started clicking for us. At that point, Jordy was on a semi-regular basis doing the hosting. He wasn't with us all the time at this point. Most of the time it was just me, Will, and Jared. And it wasn't until when the wheel landed on Return of the Jedi. I forget what episode this is. I think it's in the 20s. I wish I had this information up right now. But whenever, like he said, if it landed, I think it was the week after we did The Empire Strikes Back, or 2 weeks after, which is the second Star Wars movie. And then it landed on Return of the Jedi. And then he was like, you know what? I'm going to do this on a regular basis now. And he's been with us on a regular basis ever since that funny incident. And, the show right now is just, I love doing it. It doesn't feel like work to me. It really does not.
Yeah, as for quote unquote work, I'll get to that in a sec. But Jared's channel, I'm Jared Ross. Go check it out. He does been reviews.
Absolutely.
That are about 15 to 20 minutes. Go check it out.
Yeah, more in-depth discussions.
Subscribers.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, as for quote unquote work, now the reason why I left, because it wasn't meant for me. For the first 3 episodes, it was fun, like as for helping, as it were. But then, going towards the end of the year, I was just like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore because, I'm not a movie enthusiast. I'm not a movie enthusiast. I'm not a good reviewer personally. So I just thought, you know what? It's Victor's show anyway. I'm going to give it to him, and let me focus on my other important projects that I have to do. And plus, the David Dawson Network was just getting started.
This was right. When you left, it was right before you and Jason made that official, wasn't it?
Yep, January 1st, 2023, and we've been developing it since sometime November or December. Yep. So that's what the other reasons why, and also, like I said, other projects are more important to me. But I'm happy to see the show grow, and with this,
it's arguably the most popular show David has on his channel. We get a lot of views from that. Like it's crazy. I would think only 30 people would watch per episode, but like especially when we went live, it was because it's funny because the show at first was taped, pre-recorded, wherever you want to call it, until we got to about the Avatar episode. I believe that was episode 12 or 13. That was when we went live for the very first time, and it's been live since. And honestly, I don't think I'm ever going to change that. I feel like our live chat is
permanent.
It's like it's better live.
Yeah, and by the way, Abara has been on for quite some time. He's been trying to get a job himself and other things. He's taking his break for this summer, so best of luck to him. Hopefully
we do miss him on the show, so
which hopefully I'll make a return sometime in the near future, but we'll just be patient on that. What are you most proud of, without getting too what's the word?
Specific?
Chat. chattered about it or whatever. What are you most proud of this show?
Well, like I said, not really getting chattered too much. I'd rather not ramble, but in what I'm terms of what I'm proud, what I'm most proud about the show, it's more like I consider this show to be an alternative for film enthusiasts because film enthusiasm right now is at a really horrible place. Tell Romy about that; he'll tell you all about that. But I just wanted to make a positive-minded place where we could discuss film and television in some places. But the
Especially, I hate to interrupt, but with the strike going on, you don't want to be part of that community right
oh
now,
no,
especially more
no,
than ever before.
oh
So,
yikes, it's awful. I mean, we talked several points about that on the show, and that's another beauty thing about it, where we're going with current of like we talk about current events that are happening in the world as well, in the movie world as well. So, like, for example, one of the biggest running jokes around the whole show is my hatred of David Zaslav. Ever since the second episode, I've practically talked about this motherfucker in almost every single episode and how much I hate his what he's doing at Warner. And then with the strike, that has become kind of a recurring thing. And at the same time, what I like about the show is that we tell it like it is. We tell it like it is. We're not biased. I try to not be too biased on this show and just talk about it how it is. We talk about film how it is, you know? We're not afraid to speak our minds, if you will. And also too that we're just a bunch of silly goose who try to, do stupid shit on the air.
yeah. One last question. Will you ever bring anything new to the podcast going into your next period?
I would like to do that. I don't know what could I do in terms of doing that, but I love the format as it is. But I feel like you sometimes you gotta evolve, and I don't have exactly ideas of what I could do right now. But hopefully in the future I'll think of something. But like
Hmm.
I've tried to get to do certain things like get the viewers involved with our polls. I do on a bi-weekly basis, and also, for example, allowing guests on our show. For example, Jordy's mom did the Jaws review with us, and it did incredibly well. To my shock, like that
Mm.
episode I felt before she went on was, kind of just a normal, just okay, but she elevated it. She did. She
Mm.
elevated that episode. And
Cool.
with that, I actually told her, put two movies on the wheel, and like you put this and that, and I like to figure, try to build a little suspense whenever we spin the wheel for the next movie that we do. And, it's, I try to make people, it's a show that I do, it makes people happy, and I try to promote it not just in the network or on David's channels, but I try to do it now on Instagram. I have an Instagram account. You can follow me. It's what do I go by on Instagram? Just my name? I forgot
Yeah.
my name, Victor Del Valle. And also I'm on Threads, the Twitter wannabe from Facebook, and I do it unfortunately on TikTok
Or
because I
Met
feel like
or Meta or Meta.
well, Meta is the company as a whole, but
Yeah.
Facebook, but I do it on TikTok as well because, yeah, TikTok could be cringe. However, if I could get a younger audience to see our show by doing this, that would be wonderful. So that's why I'm trying to promote it on TikTok as well too.
All right. Well, that was a great interview right there, and we will definitely have you on for future
Yoshi,
GMS 3000. As I was trying, oh, Yoshi, can we get Victor back, please?
stop, 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 fuck off.
Thank you. We will definitely have you on again for a future episode, and also to do an interview on 3000 September this year. So, Thank you for that. And any last words?
Watch our 1 year anniversary on Tuesday. Well, technically tomorrow on 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. I think it's 5 p.m. Pacific. And then also I will be on Rant and Rave, their 200th. That will be Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Brandon Martin's channel, which I'm sure he'll bring up when he comes on the show tomorrow. So I'm sure he'll bring that up. You know, that crossover that we're doing. I don't know what we're going to do for that crossover. I have no idea at what we're going to be doing, but I'm sure I'll find out in the coming days, pretty much. So yeah, and also too, the episode will be about one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life, The Blair Witch Project. So of course there's gonna be a rant. There's gonna be a rant, and it's funny because Jared actually likes that movie, so it's gonna lead to one of those debates. It's the first time since The Dark Age, but this time I think it'll come out a little bit better. Let's put it that way.
All right, sounds fitting. So thank you all for watching, and see you all next time.
The following is a public service announcement from David 3000.
Yankees suck.
This has been a public service announcement from David 3000.
Welcome back to DMS 3000 News Live. And whoa, we've got some noise here. Welcome again to the show. And this is episode 38. It is August 8, 2023. And of course, I am your gracious host, Jason DeCanio, who's here with Brandon Martin and Jordy Scow from Rant and Rave. Welcome, gentlemen.
Good morning, Jason.
Oh, it is an honor and a privilege to have you both with us today, as this is a special preview day for the upcoming big 200th episode of Rant and Rave podcast. You guys are just getting ready for one of the biggest shows I think you've ever hosted or have come to this far. So, without further ado, I'm going to throw it all the way back to the beginning and ask both of you how this idea came about. I want to know how this whole thing started. Let's go back to the beginning, you know?
Well, since I'm the brains of the whole operation, I mean, I'm the one who pretty much innovated and motivated everything. Okay, so what started it all was I was watching, these, shows that Jerome, Lucas, and Shane from the network community used to do, called the Painting Game Podcast. And then there's these other wrestlers, out there. Well, even though Shane, Romy, and Lucas aren't wrestlers, but they are fans, but you get the idea. But as for other wrestlers, whether they be retired or currently active, whether they're working independents, they're doing podcasts as well. And I was like, you know what? I want to do something with my life a little bit, before I decide I want to be a wrestler myself. I want to see what we can do. So the original idea was actually supposed to be me and Brandon covering the entirety of WCW's existence from the first episode of Nitro all the way to its final show of Nitro, including the pay-per-views and maybe Thunder if, possible, just to cover, its main product, just of the entirety of its Monday Night Wars existence.
Yeah.
However, to my discovery of while I was, doing some research, I realized that if we were to cover the Monday Night Wars, it would have taken us like 3 to 5 years, I would suspect, if we had done it on a weekly basis. But then again, that is just my theory, Yeah. And I'd say 3 to 5 years because the thing is, yes, we've been around more than 3 years, but the problem is I don't want to cover something that's already being covered by other channels, like Wrestling Bios, for instance, because I believe that is the greatest channel to be looking at, history when it comes to the Monday Night Wars. So then I decided to scrap that idea, and I was like, you know what, let's try something different, and we could just have a show that's pretty much basically about the past, present, and future, and we can also, rant and rave about it too. So I decided let's call it the Rant and Rave Podcast with an N instead of an and. And the whole idea for the logo, before you ask that question, I want it to be more like a TNA kind of theme, because TNA back when, before it was Impact, because of, the politically correct stuff, I'm not going to lie, TNA was one of the greatest companies, in wrestling. And I loved the logo. I loved the points and all that. I mean, you can't even describe how much, certain things that I wish didn't change about that logo. So, right. And it just brings nostalgia, So, yeah, that's pretty much how the show was created. And ever since then, sure, there have been episodes where I've been like a Romy 2.0, but as the show has evolved, I've become not only my own character, I've become my own person. And there's a lot of changes, to the show, along with myself and with others on there, along with Brandon, including everything else. But that's how the show was created, and how its origin was, as it were.
Now it started with you two guys, and then you guys like evolved out to 4 or 5 at a time. I've seen even 6 or 7 at one time on your show. Who are your regular panelists other than you and Brandon, Jordy?
Okay, so it's me and Brandon, Eric, Yurley Barra, and Michael Bombardier, and Andrew Hawking. But for quite some time, Uriel has been, like off the grid for some reason. Like, for some reason he's been out of contact for some reason, and I think David just said something about this, like him hunting for a job. And the thing is, I didn't know anything about that. I mean, but that's just me giving my opinion. I didn't know Uriel was job hunting. If he had told me that, I would have said, you know what? Until you find a job, well, I'll like, let's say we'll give you a lot of love and support until you come back. Mm-hmm. I got no hate for anybody who doesn't have time for the show. I mean, if you don't have time, you just have to tell us, It's all about, healthy communication. Lack of communication can also bring about a lot of stuff, like, drama, some unexpected turnabouts, yada, yada, yada. I don't want to go into too much detail, but yeah, that's basically most of the people we have on the show, And the reason why most of the time, you don't see Andrews because he's working. Well, no shock there. And as for Michael Bombardier, he's actually, on a 2-month hiatus because of free concerts. Honestly, if you were to tell me, would I be off the show just for free concerts? I'd say no, because the thing is, if I want to rock and roll, I'll probably do it in my house. Okay. Cause I don't want to get too surrounded by people, that probably cramp and, squish me, like, because some of them are, because hey, some people can be obese and they could squash you in an instant. No offense, Jason.
Hey, I'm losing weight, man.
Well, when I first met you, you were big, but I can respect. I respect you for losing weight, though.
I try to stay healthy, and I'm on like a 12-hour fast I only eat like 2 times a day now, and I'm on a 12-hour fast, and it's actually working out pretty well. You give
Boogie a run for his money.
Yeah, there you go. Justin Williams says happy 200 to you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Justin.
Definitely. So we thank you for that. And I know there may not be a lot of people watching this morning because they got to get out of their lazy bed and their comfy pillows and all that stuff to come and watch you guys on
or their couches.
Yeah,
considering where they sleep.
So would you classify yourself as a wrestling show or just one of those things that you would just how would you define the Rant and Rave show?
Well, originally we're like a wrestling show, but I think you could call us more like a variety show, because the thing is, the opening topics we do now within our format, we cover wrestling in any way, shape, or form. But when it comes to our, main topics, it could be anything. Like I said, we are a variety show, because if we're just covering wrestling, then all we're doing is catering to the wrestling fan base. We're not catering to any other, audience that are interested in other things. Like, let me ask you something. What's your favorite sport?
My favorite sport is actually bowling when I used to bowl, but it's billiards.
Okay. Let's say we cover something like that. Okay. Yeah. And we cater to audiences, and we're not trying to be prejudiced about it. We're trying to cater to audiences that are not just wrestling fans. We could be, helping people that are bowling fans or even, like billiard fans, like you just, described. Yeah. See, that's the whole point, because if we're just catering to one specific audience, then the show isn't really being, as good as it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much why we're most of a variety show than we are a wrestling show originally.
That's interesting. I love the format, and I love the logo. That is just fantastic. And you guys have it on T-shirts and cups, mugs. How is the business side of that? Are you making money off it, and is it helping to make more programs? Are you taking?
Well, I can't answer that question because one, I don't have any connections, but I know Brennan does, so he can answer that if you want.
We'll turn it up to the man of Mr. Martin here and ask him about the merchandising side of Rant and Rave. How and when did you start the whole merchandising stuff?
Jason, basically, with all the merchandising and all of that, basically was back in those pandemic days where we had to stare our butts home and all that in the worst year of 2020 at the time.
Yeah.
So basically, I decided, you know what? I want to make it happen. I got a hold with one of my good friends up in Spokane, Washington. One of my great friends of mine, Ethan Harrison, from Dynamite Enterprises. So with that, I asked him, with the shirts, same, the logo and all that, which everything comes in by fours, which I did the order up a bit, and he's like, let's make it happen. But later on, I basically signed up with a website, which is actually called brainbustertees.com, when you can actually create your own store, which it also provides, my gosh, other wrestling personalities. That's where, like, in a way for us, along with many others, like many other creators.
Yeah.
And that way we did our own design. We had to submit that every time, and then like give us the description and all that. And plus, you had to be like more specific on the design. This logo had to be stretched out or fits really well. All those other dimensions. And that way, and we have a lot more designs than just the R&R logo, which we also have the Ranniversary logo. Along with my very own thing, which created to a certain someone, which is the kind of the moniker of like Kevin Owens, Owens fight, or Fight Steam fight, and all that other stuff. That's basically with me, Fight Martin fight, and a lot more other designs, including like rock bands from the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
And basically some from the nostalgia days, from basically Ring of Honor from 2004 to 2011, and another one from 2002 to 2004.
Mm-hmm.
And my word, it's, and then he did up another one with like the sunglasses and the soundbite, everything else.
Very nice. So now you have executive producer is of course the great Tom Willis, and we love him for all that he's done for you guys. And you guys are working on working really close with him, and I hope that you guys continue to stay on the staff, because he's got some really good ideas.
He does.
What is one of your favorite episodes that stands out the most to either one, and I'll throw the first one to Jordy. What's your favorite? What would be your favorite episode of the 199 that you've done so far?
Well, if I had to go back, I mean, a lot of people would say episode 29, but the thing is, that would be, too obvious because it's the highest viewed episode ever. Because, the infamous, exposure of, two certain individuals, even though one of them I'm cool with, but the other can go to hell for all I care. Oh no, I'm dead serious when I say that.
Yeah.
But and then there's the rant on 2K20, which everyone knows about. But if I had to go back, I'd say, one of my favorite episodes would have to be episode 100 because the thing is, you may not know this because I put a lot of work into those 6 hours of having to make that one of the greatest episodes of all time because we had the interview with Jazz and her husband, I believe his name was God, hold on. I'm trying to think what the name is without Brandon trying to tell me.
Yeah. Don't give it away now.
Damn it. I can't even think of the name. I mean, I'd have to look back, but the thing is, he is a wrestler. I'm not trying to disrespect him in any way if I don't remember his name. Maybe it's because I just got up or something. I don't know.
That's okay. It's early morning. You got to get that caffeine in there. Totally understand it. So now the goal is
what was the guy's name again, Brandon?
Well, you know what?
Rodney Mack. Wait a minute. There it is. Rodney Mack.
There you go.
Hey.
Okay. Rodney Mack. Oh my God.
Rodney Mack.
Now my brain's working. Yeah. We had that interview with Jazz and Rodney Mack, and we had other stuff happen. We had a crossover with Uriel show at the time, just like we're going to have a crossover this Thursday with, the popcorn panel, I think Victor said earlier. And I literally put my own body on the line, try to give out, a physical performance, in certain moments of the show,
Yeah.
It was actually having to put my own back on the line as well, having to take a bump or two.
You've been through the bumpiest roads on that show there, Jordy. I think if anybody has taken more, it's you because you have basically sacrificed to make the show what it is. And I've seen some episodes where you have literally just thrown it right off your chest. You come out and say, hey, I'm tired of whatever this, and I'm tired of that, and this has got to,
Yeah.
Well, I understand where you're coming from, and you have.
I just tell it how it is.
Oh yeah, you have to be blunt with it because a lot of people don't like to hear the truth about situations. But
let me tell you, it's funny you say that because some people, and I'm not trying to say all people or a lot of people, I just say some. They cannot stand it when you are telling hardcore facts to your face. They just they want to get all comfy cozy with their feelings of how they feel about someone. The thing is, listen, I understand you love or you care about someone, but if you can't accept the facts that are presented in front of you, then you are leading a life of delusion.
And yet they'll say that you're the delusional one for giving the facts because their facts are totally different from your facts.
Exactly. It's like, okay, listen, I know a lot of people are going to probably, cancel me if I say this, but let me tell you something. Just because certain people like Donald Trump does not mean they deserve to be canceled. Sure, the guy is a dirtbag. I mean, we all know that. Every millionaire that I think we've come across that have been on TV are scumbag, dirtbag, douchebag, whatever bag you want to call them.
Right.
Because the thing is, at the end of the day, just because you like someone doesn't make you a bad person. But if there are facts presented, like certain areas, like we all know about Vince McMahon and his, recent, incarceration or maybe, recent, problems as it were, with his, with the, hush money to certain women nowadays. Guess what? At the end of the day, if you like the guy, guess what? You can like him as a fan, but at the end of the day, you cannot argue with the facts that are presented in front of you.
Very, very true. Very, very true. I like your theory on it, because when you guys are presenting information, you're trying to be informative, trying to inspire, trying to get everybody
Exactly.
A lot of people don't even like to be educated. They think, oh, how can he teach me something? Hey, man, we're all here to learn something new and exciting.
And the thing is, we're not even trying to shove any politics down anyone's throats. We just simply call it when we see it.
No, that's one thing you guys never talk about is religion and politics because, first of all, your show is not even geared toward it. Second of all, topics like that are very sensitive and offend somebody.
Exactly.
But we wouldn't even worry about offending them because you're offending them with something else that they might not want to hear.
The only thing I do kind of wish that did not happen was the whole George Floyd thing, because that was the only thing I think we covered. But the thing is, a lot of people are mixed towards that because I have my own feelings about that. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Brandon does too. I'm sure a lot of people do. But the problem is, if we have something to talk about and we find out something that's really, not right about the subject, we're going to call it out and tell how we see it. And it's not because we look online. It's also because of what we discovered, not what we've read, what we discovered.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, let's take a look and see what we have here for some more things. Oh, looks like
we need R&R to be on the radio.
I guess that was coming from the CEO of. I guess David St. Dennis said that because I didn't type that in. And
I'm surprised you didn't. I'm surprised you didn't cut me off when I was referencing Donald Trump and George Floyd.
Oh, I wouldn't. And just like the Orioles.
The Orioles.
And King Kevin Daddy says hi. He says hi to Jordy, and he says hi to Brandon.
Yep.
Hey,
how you doing?
Hey, Kev.
Hey, Kevin.
So no, I don't cut it off at this because hey, this is a news live program. We cover everything, So Brandon, what would be your favorite episode now that Jordy has given his wonderful little spiel of favorite episodes? What episodes stand out to you the most?
Oh man, like I said, I know as Jordy mentioned about the most infamous episode, the most viewed of episode 29. We all know that happened, as he mentioned. And even we all know the first ever crossover, episode 100. I have to say, it's sure there's some good episodes and there are some bad episodes.
Oh yeah.
And
true.
You'll have to. It doesn't matter, yeah.
Oh yeah, and basically, it's, for like if I had to say what my favorites are, if a favorite, but basically I know 100 is one of them. Along with 29, we all know that, and a lot more others. Gosh, the famous episode 112, we had to do another exposure.
Oh, that one. Oh my God, that is a good one.
Yep.
It's both good and dramatic at the same time, but then again, it's worth the watch.
Yeah.
Oh yes. And David had to mention that episode 10 before he got my phone number.
I was wondering what he put up there. You got my episode 10. I guess those are some interesting. We'll have to go back and look at episode 10 to see what you were referring to there.
Yeah, and basically episode 10, we were interviewing at the time, with Max Ryan, the mouthpiece, and David decided to text me. I'm like in my head, he got my phone number too. I'm like, and then Jordan, you said, what?
What?
Uh-oh. No exchange of phone numbers on this show at any given moment,
Oh yeah, that's another form of doxing too. So
yeah.
Who came up with your? I love the intro. That is so fantastic. Who came up with that? Who gets credit for bringing the intro into the graphics and all that stuff? Was that Tom? Or
no. Well, funny enough, it wasn't even Tom. Well, actually, the new part of the intro, like, for the R and R logo showcase with the electricity in the air and all that, that's Tom. But the intro we've been using majority of this year, I believe. I think last year too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That goes to Leon Calavera, the Scorpion Death Drop. He is funny thing is, on the first Ranniversary, I did, rant on him regarding on a certain matter. But ever since then, he has evolved as a person, and he is also a good friend of ours, and he's a very good, editor, and he's going into, to filmmaking, and that's why he's went to film school. So he's actually been able to help us, in regards to the intro. He's an artist. I mean, I can't deny him of that.
No, and it's good when you have connections to where other people can be a part of your staff and just give you just little bits and pieces of what you need to make it complete.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have a feeling, and I said, and I just came across this, that you run into a lot of people with, like, it's hard to meet somebody the first time and realize we have beef, and then once you get to know somebody, it's like, oh, they're not that bad. It's like
there are certain people that we bumped into that that have those characteristics, but then there's some that are just complete, ignorant, fools that just really don't know when to learn,
I totally agree with you. And see, and if you want to go back to our history, folks, me and Jordy didn't know each other. He thought I was part of some other gang of some things, and I finally had to come out of the woodwork and finally prove to everybody that I was not a troll. And, that's one of the things you guys have to deal with on your program. I'm so sorry.
No, that's cool.
And I'm going to ask it. I mean, when did you realize that the trolls were starting to come and attack? Like, what episode? Because they've been coming long before episode, as you was getting closer to the 200th episode. When did you realize that people were starting to attack your credibility? That's got to be,
Well, that depends on how far back we have to go. I mean, we're going to have to go back to the very beginning of the series, or do we have to go back to
when do you think it started? Is what I'm trying to ask you without trying to get you wrong.
Honestly, I think it all started back when we were trying to make this show, like a whole thing when we started using StreamYard. I think, sure, there have been trolls, whether they come from a different country or the same country we live in. I just think, some people just want to bounce you off, use you, and try to attack your credibility and your intelligence. But at the same time, you're just allowing them to do it, And the thing is, I personally believe that I think these trolls need something to, to go at. Otherwise, their life is meaningless, apparently, which I believe is ridiculous. But I just think that's their motive and all that. But as far as I'm concerned, I try not to let it get to me a lot. I know Eric is a very sensitive guy, and I know he's probably watching right now, but I know he does let a majority of it try to get to him when he goes off, and I can understand that. Yeah. I mean, that just shows what kind of person he is. He's a very caring person that he just cannot stand certain people just making him, trying to, derail the show. Yeah. But as far as I'm concerned, the thing is, the trolls, they get off with attention, and that's what sets them, that's really what gets them. They love the attention. And I think if you don't give them attention, then I guess you don't have to worry, that's how you prove to them that we're the winners here. We're not trying to cater to people. Like, sure, we cater to people like with certain varieties, as I just said earlier. We're just simply trying to, let everybody have a good time. And if these trolls don't want to have a good time, then I'm sorry, you're the problem, not us.
That's right. You just gotta keep going and keep doing your stuff, and never let them get in the way of what you're trying to accomplish. And
Exactly.
with Eric Lima, he's a very passionate person, I must say. And I've told him many a times, you have tremendous respect from the community. You know, because remember he wasn't getting any respect like Dangerfield. And I said, dude, I look at you and I'm like, you got so much going for you. You got a lot, you know, you take initiative, you take action on what you want to do, and you do it. And
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
originally he wouldn't do things like that. What he's doing now, and I'm actually proud of him, both as a person and as an individual. You know, like and a man. You know, like
we're very grateful for the stuff that he's lending to us on the 3000 network to get that 6 o'clock hour and that overnight shift, you know, for our fall schedule really good. You know, we didn't think he was going to even come through, and he finally did. And I was like, dude, we greatly appreciate it. You know,
yeah,
we're gonna do without you. You know,
I mean, Eric has stepped up his game ever since, you know, everything. I mean, for the last 2 weeks, it's been me, Eric, and Brandon. Mm-hmm. But that just proves that, you know, here's the thing. I think me and Brandon can go without everybody else involved because it did start with me and him. But if you want to talk about dedication and passion, Eric's one of them, and he was there. Sure, Uriel was there for an episode. David was there. I mean, even though I've fired him twice as producer, just, you know, whether it's funny or some back behind the scenes stuff, which has been all professional. And then there's Michael. I mean, there's a lot of people that I think, you know, that are there for the show. But if you want to talk about passion and dedication, and, you know, Eric's your man.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I was on one of your episodes a while back. I'm not really sure which number, and you know, I felt as a home, but I couldn't.
Yeah, I remember the closing moments of the show where we saw that, you know, you put it in the wrong hole.
Yeah, exactly. It's like putting a square peg in a round hole and trying.
Yo, Sarah. Yo, Sarah, what'd he do? He put it in the wrong hole. He what? He put it in the wrong hole.
Right, exactly. And I couldn't really talk about anything until like the final statement, because wrestling to me, I mean, up until about 2000 is when I stopped watching it. So anything after 2000, I don't know what's going on except John Cena and everything else. So you guys are more up to date than I am, and I'm going back 30-some years ago when Roddy Piper was still fighting, and the guy's been dead since 2015. So, you know.
Funny thing is, you know, you kind of wish people like Piper were still alive, you know, because they were like pioneers, you know.
Right. We just did his 8th anniversary passing just last week on here, and you know, the guy had a great acting career, fantastic promotional work that he did, and you know, the guy's Canadian. He's French Canadian. How he got the Scottish thing was like, you know, something else, and they kind of like worked it in.
Maybe it was a heritage thing, like, you know, he's probably Scottish, you know, from a bloodline. But then again, a lot of people that you know that have these, you know, gimmicks are mostly Canadian or American. I mean, you just never know with people. I mean, it's all about having the right, you know. It's being at the right place at the right time and which gimmick you're given, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's for sure. So when did you guys decide that 8 o'clock was going to be the time frame for it? Because you guys stayed consistent. Was it always at 8 o'clock, or was it a different time when you first started on the program?
Well, we did used to do this in the afternoon, which is, you know, at the time. But then we decided, since there's a lot of people that love watching at night, you know, on a primetime schedule, we decided, you know, to go a bit further. But ever since 2022, we have been on Thursday nights on 8 o'clock, you know, PM, right, Brennan?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I actually think that, you know, that the primetime schedule works to our benefit because, you know, again,
yeah,
like we're like trying to, you know, get the show done under 2 hours, not try to go overtime, you know, because that's what, you know, helps proper, you know, build up, you know, and for the bricks to, you know, to be constructed as they may. And I think, yeah, we've done a pretty good job with the 8 o'clock hour, you know. And
you guys get at least 400 to 500 views per program. I've seen. If you look at the statistics of your channel, you guys are averaging between 400 and 600 views per episode, and even your earliest ones are probably over in the thousands now. Over one.
Yeah, because of, you know, as of later dates, you know, we've, you know, had the show to build over the years. Mm-hmm. Sure, it's not like as popular like in regards to trying to, but the thing is, the whole point of having a show is to build it, you know, and have it constructed so that way other people can watch it, you know, in the past. Like, we've been going around, I think, ever since before the first episode of Dynamite of AEW, you know, I think. And honestly, I feel like I'm not trying to sound, you know, like as long as Dynamite lives, so does R&R. No, that's not it. I mean, we've been around before Dynamite, so I guess we'll probably live on to that. But as far as I'm concerned, the 8 o'clock hour has always been, you know, a great friend of ours. So, I mean, time waits for no man, you know.
That's it. Couple more questions, and then we're going to go to break here. I think David said, what time in the afternoon did you do this?
Oh, it depends. Like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, maybe 5. I mean, you never know.
Yeah. And so you were jumping around, but then you honed in on the 8 o'clock spot and said, hey, it's working. The views are up and everything else is going smoothly. So yeah, that's fantastic. All right. So when we come back, we're going to continue our discussion with Jordy and Brandon and ask them some more grilling questions here about the 200th episode right after this. And hey, right after this.
Where do you think really chocolatey chocolate milk comes from? A chocolate cow? In a chocolate field? On a chocolate farm? Near a chocolate stream? Wrong. Really chocolatey chocolate milk comes from where you'd expect it to come from. Hershey, the chocolate people.
Chocolate milk people, too.
Ice cream, Carvel, ice cream, we make fresh ice cream every day at Carvel's. America's freshest ice cream every way at Carvel's. Fresh Carvel's ice cream.
If you used an automatic toilet bowl cleaner that doesn't clean well enough or last long enough, it's like flushing your good money down the drain. Try my 2000 flushes. It has chlorine bleach, the same chemical used to keep swimming pools clean. It works the same way in your toilet bowl. And it works up to 4 months. It really does. With 2000 flushes, it's not your money that goes down the drain, it's the stains. So why buy anything else?
Something good is coming up. Gonna get the Bisquick down. Good morning, Bisquick pancakes. Coming up golden brown. Bisquick morning, watch it rise. Something good is coming up when you get the Bisquick down.
And Bisquick is made with 100% vegetable shortening and has no preservatives.
Get the Bisquick down. Is watching Monk and Lewis, watching the price, giving great advice, watching the store to save you so much more. New Monk and Lewis, we always beat the competition. If Lewis is watching,
you gotta be kidding. What's in is out, what's out is in. So many trends make my forehead spin. Don't tell me good pure taste, I know I taste good. While the best thing though is so misunderstood. Just give me what the doctor ordered. Just what the doctor ordered. Just give me a Dr. Pepper. We want it. Whoa, just what the doctor ordered. The taste is made to order. We love it. Whoa, just what the doctor ordered.
One reason why Duracell batteries last so long is because we never stop improving them. In fact, today's Duracell batteries will last up to 20% longer than the ones we made just 3 years ago. And we'll keep on improving them. Because on that score, we have a one-track mind. Duracell, the copper top battery. When it comes to making them last longer, we never stop.
What's in, hut? Funky chicken! Duck walk! Moonwalk! Disco! Windmill! Air guitar! James Brown! Jimmy plays Monterey!
If it's out there, it's in here. The 9X Yellow Pages. Why would anyone need another?
The starting lineups are on the floor, and here comes Michael Jordan. Taking time out for breakfast at his regular place, McDonald's. Jordan finds the open man. He goes for two and takes possession of a delicious big breakfast and a hot Egg McMuffin. Jordan sets. He puts it up, and it's good. Jordan scrambles. He sinks it in again. Can he fit that Egg McMuffin in his game plan? Yes! Michael Jordan has carried it off.
There's still plenty of time on the clock.
Tough getting out of bed to face all the chores ahead. Till that aroma comes through when the Folgers starts to brew. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Folgers is mountain-grown coffee, and the rich aroma of mountain-grown beans makes Folgers one coffee made with the morning in mind.
Now things are feeling right. You see the morning in a whole new light. There's hard work to be done, another day yet to be won. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Yes, it is. If you got your Folgers ready to go, we're back for more of DMS 3000 News Live right here on episode 38 on this August 8, 2023, 2 days before the big shoe is the 200th episode of Rant and Rave. But in the meantime, of course, I am Jason DeCanio, your host of today's program, and I'm with, of course, Brandon Martin and Jordy Scow of Rant and Rave. And, of course, Brandon Martin is, of course, my co-host here as well on the DMS 3000 News Live. The big question is, will we see you tomorrow?
Well, probably not, because I'll be working at the time. So, however, I'll be doing it Thursday, because I got something planned for this as an editorial. And boy, oh boy, I got a lot to say.
Oh, that's good, man. Get it off your chest now. I think we got a sub for you tomorrow. I think his name is Emo, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know who he is, but
Brandon Beauregard.
Brandon Beauregard, yep.
Okay, yeah. We're all going by screen names. Hey, can we go by regular names? That would be nice. So that
but that's an easier way to track you down and get your information. So
yeah. Well, Brandon Bogard, hey, that's cool. We may have a substitute for you, Brandon, so that way we got a Brandon Bogard, we got a Brandon Martin, Brandon Scruggs. We got all these Brandons in the room here. We got to keep track of it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
All right, it's 9:04 right here and on this Tuesday morning, and of course I'm with my buddies here who are promoting the 200th episode of Rant and Rave. Wow, this is going to be a big night for you guys. Now, have you decided on a format, and how is it all finalized and ready to go, or do you still have to do some tweaking?
It's funny you mentioned that, because I just sent Brandon, I think it was like a couple of days ago. Was it a Sunday when I sent you the new format for the time?
Yeah, you're right about that.
Okay, so basically, I'm gonna go ahead and get my iPad for this and just go to Messenger and show him. Or actually, I go to my notes, but then again, that's just, All right, so let me see here. Oh, stupid pen. All right, so yeah. Now, I know Victor said that we would be starting at 8 p.m. Well, the thing is, since this is going to be longer than episode 100, we are going to be having our show start at 4 p.m. Eastern. And then that's going to be the opening topics, of course. Then, of course, around 5 p.m., we're going to do our one topic from each host. And then at 6 p.m., we're going to broadcast the interview we did last Thursday before episode 199. Mm-hmm. And believe me, that is an interview you have to watch. I mean, because a lot of people are going to go like, how can you get this person on here? Like, the thing is, Brandon's the one who knows how to make the connections. All we have to do is send him the money in order to pay for the interview. That's all.
Wow.
Yes.
And then at 9 p.m. Eastern, that's when we'll have Jerome's R&R Slideshow Complex. And then at 10 p.m., our cameo compilation, where people can still do their cameos. So, Brandon, if you want to promote that real quick while we still have a chance.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I've already sent you mine, Brandon, so I'm good to go. Yeah, that little 58-second promotion right under the gun, right under the moment,
Yes.
I had to time it perfectly. It's so hard to kind of say things to kind of get everybody, in the same frame of mind when you're especially trying to celebrate 200 episodes and you're trying to do it under 60 seconds. It's kind of like it's like a game show in its own right, man. You only have 60 seconds to say what you really want to say. If you don't, you get zapped. You get sent into the toilet bowl. That's it. Yep.
Yes. As you mentioned, Jordy, though, basically for the cameos, basically for the 200th episode of the show that are due, basically, if you're in the East Coast, which is Thursday at midnight, and then also for the West, like for the Central, the Mountain Time, and then the West Coast, this is coming tomorrow at 11 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Pacific. So basically, you still have some time left, which after that time, it will be all cut off.
Wow.
So basically, you can still do a 30 to 60 second long video and audio, and then just basically congratulate us on reaching the 200 episodes of the show, the Rant and Rave podcast. Have some positive things, to say, and then which is kindly appreciate that.
Oh yeah, you gotta definitely do it. I hope you guys are getting a nice cake or something for a party going on afterwards, because that would be so nice to have a Rant and Rave cake. Then you see Jordy and everybody do like a virtual blowout of the candles. That would be fantastic. Take like a fire extinguisher and just extinguish the whole cake, like they did in the wrestling. How many times they've done on wrestling programs, the fire extinguisher.
I think my favorite moment was when Roddy Piper used the fire extinguisher on Robert Downey Jr. I
was just gonna say, wasn't it Roddy Piper that did the? Yeah, that's exactly right. He blew him out. Yeah, he just blowing smoke in his face, and all of a sudden Roddy Piper just goes off.
He even said, "Please,"
Yeah. For sure, exactly. So that's great. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's see what else we can ask you here. What did you guys do before you even came up with this idea? What were you guys? I know, Jordy, you've been around for a while. Brandon, we met just recently, but you guys have probably been doing your own thing long before even Rant and Rave was even a thought. So why don't you tell us about how you guys came about in the podcasting field itself?
Well, Brandon can answer on his own thing, but for me, I was just doing, like some things. Like I think Brandon was also involved with this whole wrestle, with the I think it was God, I don't even remember what the series was called anymore, but I do know it was something podcast related, but it was just, mostly us giving our reviews on certain pay-per-views, like on the WWE Network before Peacock came into question.
Mm-hmm.
And basically we were just, giving our thoughts on the current events of the 2019 pay-per-views, like whether it was, Money in the Bank, and then there was other events like, Super Showdown, I believe.
Yeah.
And then NXT TakeOver. I mean, there was a lot of things we did before we did R&R. So, but I will say though, at the end of the day, it was, it wasn't big, but at least, it was baby steps in my regard before StreamYard came into question. And Brandon, he could probably tell you what he did before we did R&R and all that.
All right, we'll shoot it up to Brandon and take it away, bro.
I got to say there, with my experience with doing the PA announcing and all that, for high school and even junior college itself, which it gave me that experience to do podcasting right here, right now. Basically did the live reactions on my own, and before I had everybody join in and all that. And my gosh, came this far, my word. And I still put out some good content, for the viewers who are watching our channels, along with Jordy's, along with yours, Jason, and many others.
Yeah, it's nice to kind of like share everybody's podcast with everybody else, because it gives a great variety. I believe that, and I think you guys can vouch for me when I say, if one channel was just a wrestling channel, like you said before, then you would get bored out of just hearing wrestling statistics and what happens, even though all of those podcasts that deal with wrestling and wrestling interviews are so big because of the fact that you're touching on something that's so passionate and sacred to the community. That's one of the things. And I watched a lot of, over the course of the last 7 or 8 months, so many wrestlers that are in retirement, but now are on their own podcast. Steve Austin's got one. The Undertaker had one. John Cena had one. These guys are coming on basically interviewing each other. I found that fantastic. And they were telling stories that you would have never thought would have happened unless you were a diehard wrestling fan to know this. And their thoughts about certain things. You ever kind of catch anything of those? What is your outtake on those podcast shows?
Well, honestly, I think that's what really makes, the magic happen in regards to, certain, wrestlers, where they have their own, show, their own podcast. Like, that's pretty much what, innovates, our show a little bit, just like, Pain and Gain. Also with, Flicks of the Dicks and Bovas on the Sofas, as it were. And by the way, shout out to Gary for giving us that shout out yesterday. And also, oh my God, I don't know what he called Brandon, a hairy nutsack, which is kind of funny. I'll have to give. I think that's a new one.
And also told me that you look like a pair of hairy balls.
Hairy balls. And his impression of me, just so we're clear. I saw what he did, and honestly, I wasn't offended by it. I mean, he did, and it's so funny. He doesn't even know why I call myself Scal. But if you ever ask me, I will answer, because I got nothing to hide. But anyway, so I love Gary to death. I mean, because we had a lot of major, inspirations, because of all these people.
Yeah.
So I'd say, and the thing is, it's not just that. I mean, a lot of people, whenever you look at podcasts, you got to admit wrestlers were the ones that actually made it more interesting because of their storytelling,
Yeah.
Because most of these podcasts that you see, like maybe before wrestlers got into it, was because it was the majority of it was all about politics. And that was it. I mean, and the thing is, I mean, I got no problem with talking about politics, but if that's the only thing you want to talk about, then what's going to make the show more interesting than just that? I mean, because politics in itself can be boring.
Well, I just find it very interesting that Kevin Nash comes on and has a documentary about him and talking about himself, things you wouldn't even know about Kevin Nash and the late Scott Hall that only Kevin Nash would have said on a documentary like this. I don't think you'd ever hear it on a regular wrestling program, even if they were to air it. Thank God we have YouTube and all these other outlets where these guys can come on and express themselves. I find it very interesting. So I was more intrigued by their stories behind the scenes or the stuff that they would never ever share out there unless, for some major circumstance they were getting heavily paid for it. But these guys are just coming on, like Nash and Scott Hall and all of them. Then Ric Flair was talking, about his time and all of this. And I found it very interesting that the old school guys, they're starting to talk about stuff like that. And then they're also comparing what they see today out there. It's a total different change. Totally different change. Compared to what we've dealt with before over 30-some years ago and what we're dealing with today, what would you say was the biggest change in wrestling, guys?
I honestly think the biggest change in wrestling was after the Benoit double murder suicide. Because we all know what happened. The landscape of wrestling changed forever after that incident.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue with me and say that's not how it all changed. Well, the thing is, what event did? I mean, you can't say Eddie Guerrero because they still continued with what they did after Eddie Guerrero's passing. So again, I'd say, like, at the end of the day, like, I still go with the Benoit double homicide suicide.
What about you, Brandon?
I have to agree with Jordan on that one. Basically with the Chris Benoit double murder and homicide, all that other stuff. Man, that's really tough. It's going through suicide and all that crap. It's ugh.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, no. So, and the wrestling, they try to cover up as much as they can, not expose so much. But then the fans are entitled to the whole story, just like if it was a political thing going on. What are you trying to hide? You can't, because somewhere along the line, leaked information, somebody's going to come out with it, and you might as well just tell the truth on it. And I wish that they would just do that more nowadays.
What's in the dark comes out to the light eventually.
That's very true. And again, it goes back to credibility. We're all trying to become, our reputations for credibility and accountability and all this other stuff. And we're trying to emphasize that on every show. And I just wish it was like that. But unfortunately, gentlemen, we can all agree that there's not all programs like that. So that's why we're trying to go in a different direction. I know for a fact that I'm trying to go in that direction and stay to that core as much as I possibly can. So, what is the one thing that inspires both of you to get up every day and do this? What motivates you?
That's a very good question. Honestly, I think, just, living life and, because I've got people that love me and support me, I think that's pretty much the majority of, how my motivation is to get up every morning. Because, I mean, the thing is, it's so funny. I don't really normally talk about this, but I think there's a majority of people that count on you so much that, I mean, how could you leave them, and all that? Like, thing is, sure, it's a selfish decision, but then again, it's a decision nonetheless. I mean, I don't normally talk about this stuff, but when I was looking at some people talk about how they go through, how they've eventually had friends that commit suicide. And the thing is, we shame them because they made a selfish decision. And I realize, you know what? It's not. I think shaming them is not the way to honor their memory. Because the thing is, it's like, you're thinking about, what they did was bad, even though it is bad. The thing is, you have to understand that they were in a dark place because of both mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. That's why they did it. And sometimes you wish, hey, we could have done this, we could have done that. Thing is, there are some cases that can be helped, but not every case. And if you just keep, thinking like, what he did or what she did was selfish.
Yeah.
I don't love him anymore. The thing is, that's like, bashing on people that, that have gone through it. And if that's what you want to remember your friend by, then it just proves that you're not a good friend to begin with. I mean, I hate saying it. And like I said, I call it how I see it. Because I've changed in my retrospective and my perspective of that, and I think I have gone to those dark places as well. So again, what I get up every morning is because I have people that love me and support me, and that's pretty much it, and that's what I mean. Like I've never been really counted on a lot by other people in this internet community that I've been a part of, but at the end of the day, at least I know I have something to live for and something to do both inside and outside of this internet lifestyle.
Fantastically said there, Jordy. Nice. Brandon, what about you?
I gotta say though, it's the love and support, basically gives us the motivation to do that. And, with me getting up, thinking about the positive things, not the negative, and always, do what I have to do for like every Thursday, get up, basically go over the things I want to talk about for the show itself, and basically try to get a good thumbnail out of it. The good thumbnail is really key, folks. And plus on top of that, promote. And those things are also our key as well. If you're part, like, in certain groups that allow promotion, then you do the promotion. And if they don't allow promotion, you don't do the promotion. Just basically, even, it's, my gosh, it's basically get the show out there more, a lot more new viewers who wants to tune into the podcast, and it's really enjoying it though. It's gained a lot of new subscribers along the way on my channel and then many others, getting really, really close to 1,500 though. Which I'm really proud about that.
Oh, you got 3 subs. You got 3 subs from my channels. Well, no doubt about it, my friend. Because same thing with you, Jordy. And that's the great thing about it is you guys can pick up a lot. We all can pick up subscribers here. I'm getting I added 2 subscribers just to my channel just in 2 days, and the legacy's now up to 67. It's got a long way to go, but I'm not worried about subs. I'm more concerned about views. If I can get views and expand it out there, then the subs will come naturally. We don't want to kind of jeopardize our channels, and you all know about that. YouTube's very strict on it. You try to add too many subs too quickly, they're going to start looking at your channel and say, what are you doing, So the idea is try to get as many views as you possibly can, and you're working on that, and you got it. You got the community behind you, fantastic as it is. And Justin here says his favorite rant and rave is a toss-up between 29 and 131. What was 131?
I'd have to look back because I don't remember, because sometimes I don't look back on episodes that I've been a part of, because like you said, there's been good episodes and there's been bad episodes, and sometimes I'd rather, because the thing is, I know I was there, but I'd have to look back in order to do it. I don't normally look back on episodes like I should, but then again, I might as well, because I might have to create the timestamps, sometime this year and all that. So,
well, it's also good to have a stat person to kind of look at your statistics, your analytics, tell the story of when you guys get the most You know, sometimes people are not watching it live, but
Brandon's more of the stat person because I think he's going to be looking at every single view count from the first episode all the way to last week's episode 199. So that way we can figure out how many views we've gotten over the last 4 years doing 200 episodes.
Yeah. I especially enjoyed last week's episode. I thought you guys handled it. That's your dog?
Sorry about that. That was my sister. I was giving her medicine.
Oh, sorry about that.
No. It's okay. I mean, I love it when she gets up in the morning like this, you know, all happy, you know, and all that. So
there you go.
Yeah. But anyway, go ahead.
But I enjoyed last week's episode. I thought you guys handled it brilliantly with that troll, and you guys are just poking fun at him. And did you ever figure out who the guy was or what was going down?
I can take a few guesses who that was. And the thing is, that was on Facebook, you know, and see, because we have a chat on. Okay, we're live, not just on YouTube. I mean, I wish we were live mostly on YouTube because people love YouTube. But we're live also on Twitch and on Brandon's Facebook, you know. And the thing is, I think it's kind of funny. Ever since we've been about to hit the 200th episode, these trolls have been popping out of the woodworks trying to derail us off of our game and also try to, you know, cause a oh my God, what's the word? Like a
distraction.
Not just a distraction. No. It was also trying to, you know, cause a, you know, cause a discord, you know, because everyone, you know, like trying to get us, you know, thinking like, hey, why are you doing this in our live chat? I'm like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm like, thing is, you know how I can prove that I'm not doing anything? It's because I have a thing called an alibi. Like yesterday, I told Romy, I'm going out bowling with my family, and I thought I'd let you know that I won't be in the live chat until I get home. And then and that way he'll know right away that it's not me in the live chat because someone's been posing as me, and then there's someone posing as Eric not too long ago. And I think that same person might be the one on the Facebook live chat. But then again, that's just a theory. I don't have any evidence to prove otherwise, but if I did, I'd expose it right here, right now.
Impersonation is not fun, gentlemen. I was impersonated on a lot too with channel names named after me, and you know they gotta start cracking down on this stuff. This is not fun, man. Because
no, it's not.
Legally, you know, that's what they call identity theft in any which way, shape, or form. Even though no money was being stolen from you, your identity is still being abused. And you know, we really need to make sure that, you know, we're accountable for where we are. If we're on camera, how can we be somewhere else? Unless we're cloned. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we're on camera, which we are, well, with the exception of Jordy, who's not on camera today. He's okay. There he is. I don't know if he's
the reason why I'm not on camera mostly is because I'm just completely naked.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's all right.
I'm
for you.
I'm anything if not honest.
That's all right. Totally.
I mean, the thing is, I'd rather be honest than a liar. You know.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. You gotta stay true to your fans and everything. But yeah, I mean, impersonating you and impersonating Eric and just trying to be an airhead is not cool, guys.
The candy.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that I'm sick and tired of is impersonation as well, because look, I know where I am at any given moment at any given time. Where else would I be? And if somebody says, well, you were here, and I'm like, no, can't be, because if I told you where I was, then you don't believe me, then you're believing somebody else who's impersonating me.
Exactly.
Come on now, really. Gee whiz, man. You know, so I know I'm here 2 days a week, Monday and Tuesday. The rest of the time, I'm doing stuff for the David 3000 Network and, of course, my YouTube channel. So everybody knows where I am at any given moment. So, hey, you know, tough noogies. Sorry.
Tough noogies.
Tough noogies. Yeah, man.
Chicken McNuggies.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a break and finish up this great interview with Brandon and Jordy. And coming up, we'll ask them some really hard questions, as if they didn't get any hard questions as it is. We'll be right back.
World at Silver City Dodge Toyota.
ahead. Make my coffee. To satisfy the toughest customers, only the best tasting coffee will do.
Go ahead. Make my coffee.
At Dunkin' Donuts, each and every pot is brewed fresh and served fresh at the peak of its flavor. If you're a tough customer, only the taste of this coffee will do. So go ahead, let Dunkin' Donuts make your coffee exquisite.
Indeed.
Hi, Tom Bodette, quote, checking in on my smartphone. Everyone's checking in nowadays, at airports, restaurants, appointments with certain medical specialists. Seriously, people, TMI. Anyway, thanks to the Motel 6 mobile app, you can book a clean, comfortable room at Motel 6 on your smartphone and get a great rate. Then, when you get to Motel 6, you can check in. After you check in, your friends will be totes jealous. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
To help you paint the picture, you know what I'm saying? Burger King got these brand new dinner baskets.
I love this place.
Not hoops, baskets.
You know, if you come in between the hours of 4 to 8, you get like these dinner baskets. Get a chicken dinner basket, shrimp dinner basket, Whopper dinner basket, or steak dinner basket. Who ordered the chicken? Who got the Whopper dinner basket? You get a choice of salad or coleslaw, baked potato or French fries. So you like having it like your way. Yes, my way.
I love this place.
I love it more than you do.
The fun is back, oh yes siree. It's the 2600 from Atari. It's the video system with classics galore, from Space Invaders to cars that roar. A real hip joystick controls the screen. Solaris is hot and Midnight Magic's mean. And one more thing, it's got a special low price, under $50. $50? Now isn't that nice? The fun is back, oh yes siree. It's the 2600 from Atari.
Tire Kingdom, tires, 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 tires. If tires are what you need, the lowest price is guaranteed. At Tire Kingdom, the best tires at the best price. No hassle service, and we always treat you nice. Ooh, Tire Kingdom, tires, 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 tires.
No little cinnamon gum freshens breath longer than Big Red.
So kiss a little longer, stay close a little longer, hold tight a little longer, longer with Big Red. That Big Red freshness lasts right through it. Your fresh breath goes on and on. While you chew it, say goodbye a little longer, make it last a little longer. Give your breath long-lasting freshness with Big Red.
Yes, and welcome back to DMS 3000 News Live, episode 38. It's August 8, 2023, and of course, I am Jason Canio, your gracious host and moderator for this edition. And of course, I'm back with Jordy and Brandon from Rant and Rave on this 200th episode, promotional episode. Today is your promotions on everything else. My question to you for this interesting half hour, which we're coming up to, is what's the future of this program going to be like after this 200th episode? How many more episodes do you plan on making? And do you plan on expanding a format or going different? What's your plans for it?
Well, in my side of things, and I told Brandon about this and before, I think we're going to continue until we hit our 10th, year. And that's when that'll be the final curtain for the show, because thing is, my goal is simply to make a show, make it last for 10 years, have it over 500 episodes, and just, ride off into the sunset. Because the thing is, nothing lasts forever. And I know some people may argue thinking that it shouldn't be the end. But the thing is, every story is told. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I think Rant and Rave is not an exception to that rule. I mean, if it was, the thing is, you're going to see us in the next 20 years, maybe 40 years, and we're nothing but old dogs who have to get our pills. We have to get our, our vitamins and probably our dinners and all that. And the thing is, nobody would want to see us like old codgers. And I know some people would argue saying they would rather see us as old codgers still doing this than anything else. But if I were to say, we could always do reunion shows like on the anniversary date, and still do Raniversary, and who knows what will happen after we're done after the 10th, Raniversary show. The thing is, I've already got it all set out, on my notes here, and I think we'll probably, hit 500 episodes until May 10th, 2029. I mean 2029, yeah.
Yeah.
And that is Rant and Rave 500, May 10th, 2029. But that's in the next 6 years. And I'm talking about today, because thing is, once we've done, the 10th anniversary or Raniversary 10, that will be the final curtain,
Mm-hmm.
But as far as what will happen after 200, that it all depends, But now, Brandon, why don't you go ahead and answer? What do you think will happen after 200? Like, what's going to change with our show? Because you're a producer, I'm the director,
Yep.
Oh man, basically after 200, oh my god. To be honest, we're gonna still keep thriving. Give us the best entertainment, and for the fans who watches the show itself, and basically, like you mentioned, when it comes up to like 10 years, basically we're done. Even though some people would say, "Oh, let's try to go for 1,000." Well, okay, here's the thing: 1,000, okay, that's kind of taking a little long, but I get that. But here's the thing: 10 years is the best thing to go through, and if it's like, some other podcasts has gone for a very long time, basically, and it's, we could do that, but basically for us, 10 years would be the best way to go in our own take about that,
Mm. Yeah, well, and I remember the first time I did a show, my Jason DeCanio show lasted 453 episodes. None of it was ever saved. I lost all 453 episodes. So I didn't know how to have the storage to where to put it. The important thing is once you make all these episodes, archiving them, backing them up, putting them in a terabyte folder, and hoping and praying that they don't get lost if your system ever crashes, or just send out copies to everybody else so that way they have a chance to, save that material if it ever needs to be resurrected.
Now here's the thing. Now here's another thing I can tell you. If somehow we've gained enough like viewers in live showing, let's say if we got like over 100 live viewers, okay?
Yeah.
And let's say, if that would be the thing that could keep the show going even after 10 years. But then again, I don't see anything after 10 years of doing the show. That's just my theory. Because, but I will say though, whatever happens. I've enjoyed, doing this with Brandon for the last, nearly 4 years, because we're going to hit, Raniversary 4 on October 5th. Yeah. And honestly, I couldn't have found a better partner to work with, to actually do this.
That's fantastic that you guys have, kept track of the time that you guys have been doing this. And, the thing about it is that, you don't know what's going to happen as you continue on. You want to keep going. You don't want to overbook yourself either.
No.
Both of you guys have lives outside of even podcasting, we all
because in the next 2 years, after I'm done training at the gym and all that, I'm gonna go to a wrestling school, and I'm gonna learn how to wrestle, and I'm gonna be a pro wrestler, and maybe try to expand the show more with with me being on the road, probably sell some merch, if I can, maybe I'll have to buy some merch from Brandon, or he'll have to send it to me through mail. But then again, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to do what I can to help the show, but also help myself, because
I see you, Jordy, as on the announcing side of it. After you've done a little bit of wrestling, I could see you doing a little bit of reporting.
Well,
experience,
thing is, I really want to take the bumps, to be honest with you, because the thing is, I can understand why they do it because of the money. And the thing is, you don't make a lot of money through announcing, but then again, you make more money when you do wrestling. So I'd say I'm going to be all for it because the thing is, even if it costs me my life, I know the risks. Because the thing is, I want to make money to provide for my family, to help us be debt free without having to pay any more things and all that.
Mhm.
And, because the thing is, I mean, it's a dream, and I want to fulfill my dream and I want to fulfill my goal and duty to, what I want to do. And as for Brandon, I don't know, maybe he'll become an announcer. Maybe he'll, maybe he'll like evolve from the, from freaking, college, commentary. Maybe he'll become a sports analyst, or maybe he'll even become a wrestling commentator, and I would be honored if he were to, do commentary in one of my matches one of these days. But
yeah, I could just see him just right there up there. And Jordy got
it's like
lift him over the ring. Holy cow.
it's like JR and Steve Austin, like with that kind of relationship they have,
Or JR and Jerry the King Lawler,
No. I'm talking like with Steve Austin, with him wrestling and JR doing commentary.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm Stone Cold and Brandon's Jim Ross.
That's
which
right.
Funny thing is, a little sidebar for you. This past Saturday in Greenville, when I went to Saturday Collision, me and my dad, we were witnessing the main event, and Jim Ross came back.
Wow.
Yep, after eight weeks from originally supposed to be on the first episode, JR is back.
That's fantastic. I guess he's doing well and everything. He never really officially retired, huh?
No, and the thing is, I don't see JR retiring anytime soon. I think he still has enough left in the tank for maybe one more run, maybe the next 3 to 5 years. Yeah. I know the guy's old, but the thing is, the guy, I don't think he has anything, to do other than commentate. And I understand why, because it's his passion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, him and Lawler pretty much are just like a 1-2 punch,
I'm not gonna lie, I loved it when him and Jerry Lawler were, commentating on Raw. I mean, I don't think they should have never been split up, because that's like taking away an element of your programming away from your legacy within Monday Night Raw and all that.
That's fantastic. Well, you guys have a lot of connections as far as in the wrestling field. What other hobbies? I know Brandon's a game show fan and everything. Jordy, what do you like to do other than with wrestling? What do you, if you had to kind of walk away from wrestling for a little while? I know you're training to become a wrestler and everything, but what do you do to just kind of like unwind? What do you like to do?
Surf the web and also watch some movies, watch some TV shows to help pass the time. Maybe do some, some self homework, as it were, like write some stuff down on my notes, and also play video games. Like, funny thing is, last week, me and my parents went to a mall with my sister, and funny thing is, I actually bought, a video game for my N64, and it was like right there, and the thing I like to do is collect old stuff, I like, the thing is, it's not just for nostalgia purposes. I like old school. Excuse me. I think there was a burp coming on, but it didn't really come out as one. But yeah, I love collecting old school stuff, whether it be video game cartridges for the N64, or maybe even, VHS tapes, like I'm at, I'm for the time being, I'm not collecting Dragon Ball Z tapes at the moment, but I will get back to it soon. But at the same time, I just know that I just love, doing it, not just as a hobby, but as a way to actually have something to know that I did this in order to collect this many stuff because I wanted to do it, just like I want to do wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's for sure.
I mean, the thing is, if I don't have anything to do, I think I'll be driven into madness, and not and not even pills can save me. Like that's just how I am. And I'm not saying I'll go mad at any time soon. I just think, if I don't have something to do, then God help me, Right.
You got to stay active. That's for sure. Brandon, what about you? What do you like to do when you just say, I gotta walk away from what I'm doing and just go walk on a nature trail or something? What is your outside hobbies,
I hope it's a clothes trail.
All right. Basically, do the same with watching TV shows, being a sports guy myself, watching some football, which I'm getting back to that, which coming up on this Friday, which is some preseason football, which the lovely Denver Broncos going up against those Arizona Cardinals. Which
there you go.
It's funny that he brings that up. I hate to cut you off, but wasn't there one time when you did a Monday Night Football live reaction, and all of a sudden I told you that we might have to end it because someone got hurt in the field?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got news for the people that that tweeted, or now on X that tweeted and say go F yourselves with a 10-foot pole, because if you want a game to continue because a guy got hurt in a life or death situation, or from a heart attack or whatever, then you have no soul.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, go ahead, Brandon. I'm sorry if I had to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
It's all good. But yeah, basically, I did the previous one back for a long time, and then decided to get back into it, as, and out of nowhere, though, my gosh, it was like, some raids going on and all that, with a name of Tom Grossi, famous YouTuber, which, my gosh, that was amazing, getting raided on the stream and all those other things. Yeah. I know Apizzle90, which is Alex Putnam, who does that for his Miami Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Yep.
And that basically, got back into did a little bit of live play-by-play and reacting to the game itself, and it really helped out for the channel itself.
Yeah,
giving back, people who watch football or many other sports in general.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys have found some other, healthy hobbies to keep you going, and it's important to keep, a sanity. Sometimes we get involved in our projects so much, but we have to walk away from them eventually and say, hey, that's why I took summer hiatus from my channels. I said, they'll hold their own. Those shows will hold their own. I'll work with the 3000 network for the summertime and get everything back the way it was. Of course, once fall comes, and that's in about 3 weeks, we'll be getting back to that fall schedule. Let's see who's in the chat today. We've got who's ZDR? Does anybody know who ZDR is?
I have no idea.
I could take a wild guess, but I'm not gonna say it because, again, I don't want to. Yeah. I don't want anything bad to happen. I'm going to go ahead and check out the live chat right here.
Yeah, go ahead. And then David says cough, cough, skip.
Okay, what's so weird that I found that's so weird about the live chat? When I'm going to the live chat, right here, on my iPad, mm-hmm. the other people you saw, they're not in the chat. It's like invisible or something.
Yeah.
And I'm a mod in David's channel. I should be seeing this stuff. But I think YouTube's having some problems, like whether it's, chat. Can you still see previous comments in live chat on the StreamYard side?
I can see everything that I have on the StreamYard side, because if I was to go on YouTube right now, it'd be a 5-second delay.
It's not just it's not a 5-second delay right here. It's just gone.
Yeah.
Like, hold on a second. Because I don't like putting stuff on the spot here, but hold on.
Well, here comes our CEO right now. Oh, okay.
See?
Yeah. There might also be. I don't know if that might also be. Some of us have channels that are blocked. I don't know.
I don't have anybody blocked. That's the weird thing.
Because right now we have 7 watching on the StreamYard chat right now.
I got that same thing too. Thank you. At least I'm not the only one going mad over here.
David said I got the same thing too, Jordy. Okay.
It's like the Mad King from Game of Thrones. Burn them all! Burn them all, you know.
This is the most people we've had watching this show right now because of the topic at hand here. This 200th episode of that's coming.
Well, that's because it's being highly promoted. You know, like
Yeah.
I mean, Bofa's promoted it yesterday, and I'm grateful for that. Everybody's amped up and anticipating for episode 200 because I have a feeling that this might be one of the greatest episodes we've done. I mean, sure, episode 29 has put us on the map, but I have this strong feeling episode 200 is really going to be one of the greatest. When we, broadcast the interview, we're going to have Romy on the panel. We're going to have, the crossover with Popcorn Panel with Victor, William, and Jared. I mean,
you're looking at a 6-hour show.
And hopefully, I hope Ibarra comes back because, again, like this is the first I've heard of him going job hunting. But then again, at the end of the day, I say, look, I know you want to go job hunting, but if you were to come back for this one episode, that would be great.
There you go. That's nice. 6 hours is going to be interesting. You're going to have to get some much needed sleep before it, and going to sleep good when it's all said and done.
And besides, the funny thing is, the interview we done, it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes long. And the thing is, it was originally supposed to be 1 hour, but I think when we were all talking, not to give out any names, I think we were all just, into it, like we all were like very into, all of us talking and all that.
You lose track of time because okay, I'm going to focus on a 1 hour interview. And like last week when we had our meeting for our first meeting of 5, I said, okay, we're only going to go 1 hour. I had to stretch it to 2 hours to make sure everybody got a word in. And don't worry about it, Brandon. You're going to be first tonight to say whatever you got to say because we know what happened last week.
And the thing is, and besides, the person we had was our guest, and that person could have said that it's been fun and time to go and all that. But the thing is, that person, we were just all in depth in conversation, and I even said to Brandon privately that this is great.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even he agreed.
Yes.
Yep. Well, let's go ahead and do a topic that we all like to do. If we have time, we have about 8 minutes. So what we're going to do is this is an editorial. This is a chance for you guys to say what's on your mind, and each one of you's got about 4 minutes to say what you got to say. So I'll give you guys the floor, and we'll start with Jordy.
Okay, so. If you guys, this is again, we're going to start at, unlike the usual time slot, we're starting at 4 p.m. Eastern for the Rant Rate podcast for episode 200. And we're going to be like 6 hours long. Like I just said, we're going to have a crossover with the Popcorn Panel, which is usually on here on David 3000 Network channel. Usually that comes on every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, kind of like with R&R on Thursdays. And we're going to have, Jared Ross, the Saint. We're going to have the Conqueror, William Braun. We're going to have the Count, Victor Delval. And we're also going to have, Jerome Latimer, Romy 2184 on the show as well for his slideshow complex. There's going to be me. There's going to be Eric, Brandon. Then there's Andrew. Hopefully he's there in time. And hopefully the return of Ural Ibarra. And we're going to have the interview, which will be, mostly taking over the rest of the broadcast, which will give us a good, chance to catch our breaths and all that.
Yeah.
And also we'll be having a cameo compilation, and hopefully you guys have, submitted your cameos, so that way Brandon can add it into the compilation. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So remember, we will be starting usually at 4 p.m. Eastern, which will be 3 Central and 1 and
2 Mountain.
Hold on a second. What are you doing here?
He has to come in the last 8 minutes and just kind of give his 2 cents. He is CEO, by the way.
Yeah, CEO of, well, then again, no, I'm not going to say it because, no. Anyway.
He is my boss. He's Brandon's boss, so he can come in whenever he wants. You know.
Yeah. Well, I haven't. Yeah. Well, I didn't sign any contracts, so. Anyway, like I said before, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 Central, and 1 Pacific.
Yep.
So be sure to tune in. I know we're gonna all be exhausted after the 6 hours and something minutes are up, but at the end of the day, we are gonna perform a great show for all of you, and hopefully you all enjoy this 200th edition of the Rant and Rave podcast this coming Thursday on Brandon's channel, which is also on Twitch and also on Facebook, and you can also catch us on other platforms such as Spotify and all the other stuff.
Fantastic. All right, Brandon, you got the floor for your editorial. Go right ahead, my friend.
Yeah, even though I will save mine on Thursday because I got a lot to say, but this is not Thursday. This is today. But oh, good Lord.
Oh,
David
God.
McMahon.
Got a good ring to it. And and he also
well,
said,
as long as he's not paying hush money to female employees.
All right, let's get
I
say what he has to say because we're short. We're getting short on time here.
Yeah, but basically, again, referring it back, as mentioned with the 200th episode, again, with the cameos, as mentioned earlier on the program, with the exception, once that time comes, at 12 midnight on a Thursday or 11 p.m. Central, 10 Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Pacific, all those things will be cut off with the exception of the Cameo app. Basically, if it's like 24 hours and all that, which that should be no problem. But basically, we're going to have fun. Well, all of us are, myself, Jordy, Eric, Andrew, the crazy Canadian boy. And,
from 4 p.m. From 4 p.m. to what time again?
10 p.m. They're going to be. It's
Okay.
a 6-hour show, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that means you may have to get a couple of naps in there if you really want to stay up and watch it. Past his bedtime. Okay,
well, I'll be in Cape Cod, so who knows?
You'll be chopping on saltwater taffy.
We're gonna try to get over the 2 minute and 21 second mark, like over it, because the last time we had our show was 6 hours, 2 minutes, and 21 seconds.
Yeah.
All I gotta say is that
the following is a public service announcement from David 3000.
Yankees suck.
This has been a public service announcement from David 3000.
You're just like Victor with that Transformers scene. You're repetitive and annoying.
That's him.
Aaron Boone got ejected for the 6th time this year. For goodness sakes, that's why I played that. He got ejected for the 6th goddamn time, and I have proof for that. I have proof.
Yes, poof
of it. Poof of it.
Yes.
All right, gentlemen. You guys oh my God. There we go. You gotta show the proof. Proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, well, guess what? Fox, they're liberal because they got bought by Disney. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, that's true. Well, thank you again, gentlemen, for a fantastic 2 hours. We wish you all the best on this 200th episode coming up in 2 days. I tell you, I'll try to make it in myself on Thursday night, but you know what? We wish you a fantastic show, and all of you tune into that show, 200th episode of Rant and Rave. Brandon Martin, Jordy Scout, thank you very much, and we'll see you guys with Brandon Bogart tomorrow on the program, and then Brandon Martin will be back here on Thursday for episode 40. Oh boy, 40 is the big episode then. From all of us here at DMS 3000 News Live, I'm Jason Canio. Have a great day. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Oh, I'll put it.
You got it?
What? Don't forget to subscribe to the David Dyson Network for great more content like this one.